One place that you could hide your Starlink when you're using it is actually inside of a filing cabinet. Here, it's a metal box, and here I've got the Starlink. I could open this up and then be sending my files when I only need to be sending and receiving them. And then I could close this up. And that way I'm minimizing the amount of RF power that's getting out the window to the front street. So anybody driving by, they're not going to get very much power leaking out of this metal cabinet. Over the Starlink antenna to try to hide the heat signature, and it looks like it's still there. But what it really is you can actually see the towel is in this infrared image. You can see the towel, and to the right, you can see the tiny little piece right here, right there, that is not covered up by the towel. And that is what's giving this thing away. So you're gonna need a pretty big towel, but you can even see a little bit of the heat is coming through the towel, but it's not as obvious as if the towel is removed. So here, I just removed the towel, and that shape would be obvious to a drone to detect that this has got a Starlink system in it. So you definitely want to cover up the outside antenna, even with the heater off. Right now I've got the snow heater off, and you can still see that it's pretty visible. The ground temperature here is about 32 degrees, 33 degrees Fahrenheit, but I've got the snow melt turned on the Starlink antenna. Notice now it's 65 degrees. When it was off a few minutes ago, it was about 45 degrees. So turning on the snow melt may be great for snow melt, but if you're in an area where you don't want your Starlink to get detected, a drone with an infrared sensor would be able to pick up this shape really easy. So what you're going to want to do is drape a towel over the entire antenna like this. And with that, notice how the heat, it takes a second for the, there we go. So now notice how with the heat sensor, how it's changed the look of this. So you definitely want to put a towel, and you want to have some air, an air gap around it so that air can get there. And notice that even with the towel on top of this, the heat is starting to show up along the edge of the towel where the towel is contacting the antenna. So you're going to want to get something to completely over drape the antenna so the towel is not contacting the antenna, and you get airflow under the antenna. And notice how just contact of the blanket or towel with the antenna basically negates the effect of hiding it from a drone.